What's up, guys? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'm going through my travels on the internet and I come across this page on X called Parents Oppose to Pot. And I've been going through this page for a few days, probably almost a week now. And at first, when I went through this page, I thought it was satirical. I had a hard time believing that whoever was responsible for this page was actually pushing such ludicrous information. But the more that I dove into it, and in fact interacted with his account, I found out that it's not a joke. This is a legitimate page trying to push false information in regards to our plant. So I want to bring it to your attention. We're going to go through it, and I kind of want to show you where, some people get off providing such incredibly false information. And it's pages like this that allow that perpetuation of lies to exist. So I want to dive into it and kind of break down the problems with pages like this and why pages like this actually do more harm for proponents that are against cannabis than it does good for those that are against cannabis. Now, it's not a very large account. However, it's been around since 2014. As you kind of dive into the page, it's laden with anti-cannabis propaganda. The first thing in here says, cannabis use doubles the risk of violence in young people. Heavy cannabis use almost triples it. And they've got a video here that throws out a bunch of statistics and a bunch of ads and a bunch of cases in which cannabis is associated, but often not the cause. You can really see that they've handpicked information and statistics to kind of fit their narrative. If you've been following along with the Jeremy Goodale trial, this is the case where two teens, I think in Virginia, in Iowa, beat their Spanish teacher to death after receiving bad grades. The trial is going on right now. And even though they had a psychiatrist break down the issues that Jeremy Goodale was suffering from, psychological issues, behavioral issues, parenting issues, lack of love in the household, Parents Oppose to Pot decide to grab this 30-second snippet of 30 minutes of testimony from the father, Dean Goodale.
I knew he was smoking a lot of marijuana. I tried to do everything I could to stop him from that, from sitting with him, talking with him, reasoning with him, explaining to him how it's not good for his brain development, trying to go, punish him, ground him, or I was just at my wit's end. I had to go to school every day, and he was.
So I've actually gone to find the actual case video of the psychologist who reports on Jeremy, and this is what he has to say in regards to his behavior and whether or not his parents loved him.
More or less.
I'm sorry?
His family loved him?
Yeah. I can't answer. It's hard to answer yes or no. So love is not either present or absent. Love is on a continuum.
Okay,
it's like IQ.
They're here today, a lot of them, right?
Sure, they love him as best they can through their limitations. They care about him. The love that they had for him was not expressed in functional ways that would optimize his best outcome. They loved him badly in many respects.
Okay.
So they loved him badly.
I have not seen very many cases where your mama abandoned you at age 10. So there are features of this that are very pathological. There are other aspects of it. It wasn't as if he was beaten. He was not sexually abused by his family members. There are things that I've seen that were not in this case. But there are things that are here that were destructive in their own way. More than simply tension. Dean was expecting that he structure himself to be able to do this. Jeremy, by age and ADHD, simply did not have that capacity. As he's not structuring himself and Dean ramps up the pressure, their relationship deteriorates. And there's more conflict and more meltdowns.
According to the psychologist, he wasn't loved properly. He was abandoned by his mother at the age of 10. He had a strained relationship with his father. He had ADD. But you notice Parents Opposed to Pot only highlight the 30-second snippet of the father explaining the son's behavioral issues. And if you listen to the entire father's testimony, he goes on to list a myriad of reasons for why his son got to a position of murdering his teacher. The judge himself finishes with the motive being the bad grades. It's these hand-selected facts that really distort the argument of anyone who's trying to prove a point that cannabis has any detrimental or negative effects. It's true, it does. But those arguments are washed away when you've got a page such as this perpetuating lies. A 2006 Foundation for a Drug-Free World publication says adults age 26 or older who used marijuana before age 15, 62% went on to use cocaine, 9% went on to use heroin, and 54% made non-medical use of mind-altering prescription drugs. Pot is the gateway for those who abuse other drugs. Despite the fact that the National Institute of Justice, overall, the literature review concludes that existing statistical research and analysis relevant to the gateway hypothesis has produced mixed results, thus failing to provide clear scientific support for cannabis use as an inevitable gateway to harder illicit drug use. This necessitates the main conclusion that no causal link between cannabis use and the use of other illicit drugs can be claimed at this time. So despite the fact that there's plenty of literature to suggest the opposite of the cannabis gateway theory, it seems as if Parents Opposed to Pot continues to perpetuate this idea. Marijuana is the foundation drug because it's a gateway for those who become addicted to drugs. It's used with other drugs to enhance the effects. It's used with other drugs to enhance the effects. Who's adding weed to other drugs? Maybe alcohol to infuse it. It lessens the withdrawal symptoms of meth and heroin, which is actually a good thing. It's a gateway to psychiatric drugs causing psychosis. All right. So, in the face of sheer evidence and literature, Parents Opposed to Pot still perpetuates the idea that cannabis is a gateway drug. And as you continue to scroll down, you are going to see more information that is just flat out wrong. Like this, medical marijuana, my foot. There's no medical. That's got to be one of the greatest hoaxes of all time. Former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, radio interview with John Grambling. Michael Bloomberg, now that's a very reliable source of information, to say the least. See, the problem is that this page takes away the legitimate argument of those who are arguing against cannabis. There are legitimate arguments against cannabis. For example, smoking cannabis can be detrimental or hazardous to your lungs because you're inhaling a foreign substance, and the carcinogens, when burned, can have a negative effect. That's a legitimate argument. Or how about the argument that children should not have access or should not smoke cannabis? Yeah, that is a good argument. It is scientifically proven that cannabis on the developing mind can hinder its development, particularly when it's smoked. So, for that reason, yeah, children should not have access to smoked cannabis. But that argument fades in comparison when you are associating it with blatant lies and propaganda. You're taking away from the argument. You're taking away from the ability to spread awareness and educate other people by turning off the majority of people who read your content with headlines such as "Rise in Violence Correlates with the Full Legalization of Marijuana in Vermont." That's what happened 6 years earlier in Colorado. Staff members say more patients seem to be arriving under the influence of alcohol or drugs that can cause paranoia or aggression. You know, correlation doesn't mean causation. Just because an influx of car accidents happen on the main mating day of a national bird doesn't mean the bird's sex caused all the car accidents. They may be correlated, they were on the same day, but one did not cause the other. And that is a fatal mistake by parents opposed to pot. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I think it's laughable. I do follow this page, and I do tend to comment. They do engage with my comments and my interaction on their page as well. The last time I commented on their page, it was in regards to that 2006 Foundation drug-free world publication. And I stated, and what about opioids? Or are we just selecting facts from 2006? Ha ha ha. And they responded back. Yeah, it's also true for opioids. Non-medical use of mind-altering prescription drugs includes opioids. But they missed my point when I was trying to suggest that opioids are the reason that people are using other drugs. Of course, they're just selecting facts, and arguing with people like this is only going to lower your IQ. You can't fix stupid, and often you tend to get in these circular arguments with these people that will just go nowhere. I'm not going to be able to change the minds of anyone who runs this account, and in fact, I'm not going to try to change anyone's mind. I started this channel with the sole mission of trying to spread as much awareness about this plant to as many people as possible. And along that way, I learned that I'm not trying to change the mind of those who are set in stone with what they believe. I'm trying to find the people who can better their life using this plant that otherwise didn't know it existed, didn't know they could use this plant for all the medicinal properties that it has. It's changed and it's saved my life, and I know it's changed and saved so many others' lives. I want to help make sure that it can change someone else's life too, and that nobody suffers while there is still a preventable way to get through it. Guys, that's all the time I have today. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. If you appreciate the video, hit the thumbs up. If you like the video, leave a comment if you have something to say in regards to anything. Before I go, I want to give a huge shout out to Spider Farmer. Spider Farmer is a sponsor of this channel, and they are a sponsor of this community. If you want to get some great name and lights, head on over to spider-farmer.com. You can use promo code PIGEONS420 when you're checking out anything on their website. They're having a Black Friday sale as well. If you go and check it out, you can get as much as 25% off your purchases, whether it's the SE series, the SF series, or the G series. You're going to save a ton. I've used all three of these series, and I swear by all of them. So go to spider-farmer.com, use promo code PIGEONS420, save a few dollars off at checkout, and you can help support the show as well. I also want to give a huge shout out to AC Infinity. AC Infinity has got the greatest name in the game when it comes to everything you need in the garden. Whether it's smart controllers, whether it's humidifiers, clip-on fans, you name it, they've got it. Go to acinfinity.com. Use promo code PIGEONS420. You'll save a few dollars off at checkout, you'll support the show, and you'll have some amazing equipment in your garden. acinfinity.com, promo code PIGEONS420. You can thank me later, guys. Until next time, I appreciate you. Much love. Stay medicated.